Hey there, I'm Kate, your trusted mentor in hiring A players and building strong company cultures for remote startups. Today, I want to talk to you about how to carry out effective reference checks. The most common mistake that recruiters and managers make is that they ask their candidates to choose their references. What we end up with? False references and BS reviews on the candidates that are not very authentic and true, because obviously people want to provide us with those managers or peers that they have the best relationship, right? So here's the approach that I use that I learned from top grading methodology. Step number one, tell your recruiter, or if you are doing the first intro calls with the candidates, to ask them one simple question. Who are your last 3 managers, and how would they rate you on the scale from 1 to 10 when we call them? Notice the language, when we call them. So what the candidates think right off the bat, that first, the future potential employer are definitely going to call those managers, so I better not lie, and I better provide the truth and verified info. Ask them to spell first name and last name. If you're doing a call over Zoom, you can ask them to send that over in a Zoom chat box. Write that down and save it in the scorecard. Later on, you're gonna understand why. Now, step number 2, do a debrief on the candidate. Collect the feedback from all the people that were participating in the interview process. And when you have the top 3 or top 2 or top 1 candidate that you want to make a decision on, only then ask that candidate's permission, obviously, to carry out reference calls. But don't ask them to choose the references, because you already have them in your scorecard when you ask them during the first intro call. And you can ask them to simply give a heads up to their managers that you as an employer are going to be reaching out to them. Now, step number 3, you find those people on any professional network like LinkedIn or Twitter or even Reddit might work. You contact them personally, directly. You have a very sincere, honest conversation about the candidate that you might be hiring. What questions to ask? Number 1, in what capacity were you associated with the name of the candidate and for how long? What are their biggest strengths? What are their biggest limitations? What were their areas of development back then? How would you rate the person on the scale from 1 to 10, and why? Obviously, you ask the candidate what they struggled with during the first call or the second. So use that when you talk to their managers. So the candidate told me that they struggled with, procrastination. Tell me more about that. And the last one, focus on the red flags on the feedback that you collected from all the interviewers. Everything that is suspicious or the context is needed from the managers. Dive deep with them on those areas that are not listed in the resume. Go way beyond that, but don't take too much time. This is a surefire approach to get a trustworthy and honest opinion on the person who you might be bringing on board, which is a very critical decision that any CEO does. I hope you find it valuable. Subscribe for more tips on hiring and team building. Thank you.